Hi and welcome to the stunning Brabazon golf course here at the Belfry. My name is Chris Ryan, and in this video we're going to go through 3 things that you need to have a great takeaway to your golf swing. Just before we go through those 3, in the corner of the screen you should have the details for my social media accounts. That's Facebook, that's Twitter, and that's Instagram. So if you don't already, then please make sure you go ahead and you follow me on those. Right, so the video today is looking at the takeaway, and for the purposes of this video we are talking the takeaway as anything up to about when that club shaft reaches first parallel with the ground. So certainly the initiation to the golf swing. And what we're going to do is going to give you a very, very simple drill that you can do, which is going to hopefully tick off 3 key elements to that takeaway. Now, we're not really talking too much about the golf club in this video, simply because I could have the golf club moving into some maybe slightly different positions and still hit that golf ball straight to the middle of the fairway with some great impact conditions. So where the club moves in the takeaway certainly is important, yes, and I've done videos on that in the past, but we're looking a little bit more today on some other things actually might be slightly more important. So some other things that you might tend to see more commonly when you look at the best players in the world across all of the tours. So let's quickly go through what those 3 things are that I tend to see in a good takeaway. I tend to see the body engaged relatively early in the golf swing. So that's the upper body, and it's also the hips as well. So I tend to see a little bit of rotation through the body in that takeaway. I would also tend to see a pretty centered move. I wouldn't tend to see many elite golfers have a pronounced lateral shift either away from the target or towards the target in that takeaway. So I tend to see a nice centered position. The final thing, which is certainly more difficult to see, but we know it's there, is we would start to see a shift of pressure into this back leg as we make that first move away. Now, yes, this is more difficult to see, absolutely, but we know it's present. And we want to try and make sure that starts to happen in your golf swing, because that's going to help you make a much better backswing and generate some more speed into the downswing. So, pressure shift into the right. It happens in a golf swing relatively early compared to what many golfers think. We would often see that the pressure moves into that right side, and it is probably at its greatest by the time the arms reach about chest high. After that point it starts to probably shift back towards the left hand side. So we know that in most elite golfers the pressure shift happens, but it's actually a little bit earlier than maybe what many golfers think. So the drill today is going to hopefully get you to feel what all those 3 things are like put together. So that's starting to rotate the upper body with a little bit of rotation in the hips. It's allowing your body to stay centered, but it's also starting to shift some pressure. So here's what we're going to get you to do. We're going to take a starting position without a golf ball, and we're going to get you to take your normal address. Now, what I would like you to feel is we make some movements where the club reaches about here, so parallel to the ground, and then we move it through so it reaches parallel with the ground on this side. And I want you to make that movement continuous without stopping. So just before we go through a little bit more, so it's going to look a little bit like this. The club's just going to keep moving back and through, and I want you to do that a few times. As you're doing that, I want you to feel as if your head stays very much in line with that golf ball. So as we're doing that, we're not making any kind of lateral movements away or towards the target. What you'll probably see from the camera line down the line is it doesn't really start to engage my turn. So what we're looking for is, in that move, we're looking for some rotation in the torso. We're looking for some rotation in the hips, certainly not as much, but certainly a little bit of rotation in the hips. And the last thing, and this is possibly the most important thing, as you're doing this, I want you to lift up each heel. So as I move back into my takeaway, I want to lift up my lead heel, so that's my left, and as I go through the other side I want to lift up my trail heel. So let me show you what that's going to look like. Take my starting position, and I'm just going to make some little takeaways doing those things. So as you can see, some rotation, very centered, but as I'm lifting up my heels I'm starting to feel that little shift of pressure as I'm doing this. I definitely feel I'm loading into my right, into my left, into my right, into my left. And that's really the thing that's the hidden secret in the takeaway. You don't see this on TV, you see them looking very centered, yes. You see the rotation, yes, but you don't see the pressure shift. But I can guarantee you, in 99% of elite golfers that you know of, it will be there. This little drill can help you feel that. All too often I see golfers initiate the move maybe with the chest, that's fine. They maybe get the club into the right position, that's fine. But there's no dynamic movement with the ground. There's no shift of pressure. There's no initiation with the legs. This little drill is going to help you feel that. So let me just show you that again. Take my starting position, and I'm just going to start my takeaway. But I'm feeling like I'm shifting into my right, into my left. I'm adding rotation, but I'm staying very, very centered. I'm not trying to shift my pressure by going this way. That feels very, very different to what I currently did. So that little exercise is hopefully going to help you better understand what should happen in the takeaway. It often looks a lot simpler than what it is. There's a lot more going on than what we actually visually see from maybe TV or on through cameras. There's definitely some pressure shift. If we don't start it early enough, it's going to be very difficult for you to make that up later on in the golf swing. Once you've done a couple of those, just go ahead and hit one. So I've only got a mid-iron, but I'm certainly going to feel that as I start my golf swing, there is some shift of pressure into my right side, but that's not going to be done with any lateral movement. There's going to be rotation, and it's going to be hopefully pretty centered. Okay, and I'd certainly have that ball. So great little drill to help you understand the takeaway, and if you can do that, I guarantee you'll create some more dynamic moves, and that will hopefully help you to generate some more speed in the club and ultimately hit some better golf shots. Thank you very much for watching. The usual stuff is down below, so the like button down there. There's also a comments box, so let me know what you thought of the video. I'll try and respond to as many as I can. And lastly, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done already. Absolutely free, no cost whatsoever. Loads more videos on there and loads more content going up weekly. Clicking that link just means you won't miss any of that. Right, thank you again for watching, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.